Okay, this morning I promised you that we would have Rick come and talk, and I want to invite him up now. Rick is, again, I told you, he sells insurance about 4 miles south of here. Maybe not even 4, probably about 3 miles south of here. And we support him as our missionary. We support On His Path, and his ministry goes straight through that large umbrella. He's going to explain all about it, our non-missionary missionary friend. And just welcome him and let the Lord speak to you through what he has to say. So,
all right, thanks, Jason. You guys are really lucky to have somebody like Jason in the pulpit. He's a man of God. He's become a good friend, and we pray for him a lot and the ministry that he has here in Crawfordsville. Like Jason said, I'm a neighbor from down the road. A lot of you know me, a lot of you don't, but live on the family farm, have an insurance business. I'm just a neighbor, just like you guys. But God put a bug in my ear several years ago. Back in 2011, we had the opportunity to go to Guatemala. I didn't know where Guatemala was on a map, just about. But we had the opportunity to go to Guatemala, and from that first trip, God put something in our path. And I'm gonna start out with just a little short video to give you a taste of what kind of give us the fire, I guess. Go ahead, Jan. Oh, was that is that going to run? Minor technical difficulty here. Well, I'll just jump back. What we do when we went down to Guatemala, basically, we go down and we work with Bethel Ministries International, and they are two Americans that run a mission group down there, and they serve people by providing food, providing them with clothing, and wheelchairs is a very, very, very big part of their mission. So, okay, here's the video. There's sound, but that's all right. It can play without music. It's 30 seconds long. When you're at an event and you see somebody crawl to get a new wheelchair, that rips your heart out. And when you can be a part of something like that and put a smile on somebody's face and you have the opportunity to help change their life, it changes something inside of you. So after we were down there on that trip back in 2011, working with John Mitchell, who's a real good friend of mine who has On His Path and MD Orthopedics, we came up with trying to help Bethel Ministries come up with wheelchairs. Chris actually said to us down in New London, Iowa in 2012, he said, God told me you guys are going to help me find wheelchairs. We're like, okay, we'll see. And John said, if we find them on his path, we'll help pay for a container to go south. Now, a container is basically one of those semi boxes that you see that's 40 feet long and the size of a semi-trailer. They click them off the wheels, they put them on a boat, and they go south, and they go back on wheels, and they unload them. So we started looking for wheelchairs, and you can just jump to the next one, Jan. And I guess the scripture, Jason said to pick a scripture to go with for today, and this is one that I came up with. It was, for I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, you invited me in, and I needed clothes, and you clothed me. Basically, it's what On His Path is all about, is helping those in need. Okay, Jan. And so we came up with, last year in February, we actually finally gave our group a name. And with the name, you can get a website. And with the website in today's modern age, it gives you some credibility. And it helped us get the word out. And by getting the word out, we basically reached out around the country to people that love Bethel Ministries, that go down and serve with Bethel down in Guatemala. Every year they host about 25 or so groups, and a group can be anywhere from 6 to 20 people. And those people, a lot of them are recurring visitors, and their hearts are just much in Guatemala as they are in Ainsworth, Iowa. And they want to help in some way. And John and I, putting our heads together, we thought, we want to find wheelchairs, but the network is out there. It's waiting to happen. And so we reached out to Bethel and we said, your network's ready to happen. Let's throw it out to the people that love you guys and come down and serve. And so we threw it out there, and all this core of people from around the country, they said, we want to help. And so what we are is we're a nationwide network of just volunteers. Nobody's paid, and we're serving the Lord by collecting medical equipment and wheelchairs and sending them to Guatemala. Go ahead, next one. Left is John Mitchell down at Wayland. The middle's Chris Mooney, and then myself. And this was last summer when we were down there, and it was awesome to be together with those guys. And Bethel is run by Chris and Donna, who are Americans, but it is mostly staffed by native Guatemalans. Their son-in-law, top center, is Saul Chopin. He is married their daughter, and he actually runs the wheelchair shop now. And Jorge on the right, he's one of their real right arms down there. But the technicians that work on the wheelchairs that we send down there, they're Guatemalans that actually founded this whole mission, and they're in wheelchairs themselves. So that's really kind of a neat part of it. And yeah, we're finding wheelchairs, but it's not about the wheels. It is about helping those people be transformed by giving them mobility, but it's also, a large part of it is about transforming their hearts. Because if you saw, in the middle of our Mission Mobility logo is the O, and it has a cross in the middle of it. And that O signifies it's got 2 wheels, so it's like a wheelchair wheel. And the cross is in the center, because the cross is what they're all about. Because after people at an event receive their wheelchair, they get an opportunity to go speak with the pastor, and many people will come to know the Lord at these events. Now, this is a very common thing to see, the dirt floors, dirt roads, and like this little boy, I didn't take this picture, but his mom and sister probably carried him everywhere until they got him a wheelchair. And what a relief. Can you imagine, carrying your child everywhere all the time? And so it's the smiles you see on faces, both the kid getting their independence and the mom being able not having to carry him anymore, is just amazing. So like I'd mentioned, we started back in 2012. We were just kind of, real unorganized, but we started pulling things together, and the network was developed. And I was mentioning how go ahead. This is where we have volunteers now. And like I said, there's those core of people all around. Kentucky, there's Louisville, Kentucky. There's a strong bunch of folks that go down there. There's 2 or 3 teams that go down every year. Murray, Kentucky is another area where they send 2 or 3 teams down a year. So those people really have a heart for the helping, and so they are really on board, and they're finding lots and lots of wheelchairs. California, Pennsylvania, just pretty much there's people in these states that have gone down, and so they're just really jumping in and helping us find wheelchairs. Okay, Jason. 2014, a little recap. We sent, as Mission Mobility, we sent our first container on April 6th. And then moving ahead, we sent another one on July 8th. Now, these are 40-foot containers that are 8 feet wide and 8 feet tall. So there's a lot of stuff fits in there. And then we backed up. We went to Louisville, Kentucky. Nanette and I had the opportunity to go down there and load a container with my friend Brad. And then our volunteer on the left there is Debbie Hills. She's in Erie, Pennsylvania, the northwest corner of Pennsylvania. And they collected enough to ship in December 8th. So we were really excited that we had the opportunity to send 4 containers of wheelchairs last year. What does 2015 have in store for us? Well, on May 6th, we sent one out of Louisville. Brad and his group sent some out of there. On May 11th, we sent a container out of here. California, the group out there is sending their first container probably mid-August. We got to schedule it. I forgot to even put it on here. We're going to probably send another one in September. Kentucky in September, and then Pennsylvania. She has some right now, but she says, "Oh, Rick, I'll have plenty by December." So we'll probably have some. So that's really cool when we see that. And when you fill a container with a bunch of wheelchairs and walkers and crutches and stuff like that, that's a pretty big space. And you always wonder when you clear out. I've got my corn crib down at the old Suter place down there, down by home. That's where we store a lot of this stuff. And when that thing gets empty, when we load a container, I think, man, it's going to take a while to get them again. But it's really funny. On May 11th, when we shipped that container, I kind of had that feeling of, well, we got to start climbing the hill again. And you pray about it and say, God, help us find these wheelchairs again. And I'm not kidding you. I just got home. I was having a drink of water, and Neil Magelson calls me, and he says, hey, we just brought our son home from college, and we found a wheelchair. It was in their apartment. So that afternoon that we loaded the container, we had another, maybe it was the day before or day after, we had a new wheelchair. So it's like, God provides. And so that's one lesson that we're learning through this is don't put it on, we don't want to put it on our backs. We need to, we do the physical work, but God helps us get through this stuff, and it helps us to produce. A thing that we did that was really kind of fun and interesting, we went down to Kentucky, John Mitchell and I on the top left, and Brad Clark and his wife and my wife in the right picture. There was the Global Missions Health Conference, and it was a huge trade show, basically, of missionaries and mission groups. And we went down there, and we had a booth that basically we gained a lot of new states on the map because we had people that were there that said, we want to help you find wheelchairs. So that was a really neat opportunity. This guy's name is Ruby. He's one of those technicians down at Guatemala in the wheelchair shop. And he's been fixing wheelchairs there for, I think, 13 or 14 years. And you can't really tell, but Ruby's in a wheelchair himself. And that guy, he knows how to fix a wheelchair. And he'll take 3 bad ones and make a good one out of it. And they'll customize the chairs for somebody. And it's really neat, and he always has a smile on his face, and so it's neat to get to know these folks. And one point of this picture is you see the Mission Mobility sticker we put on that chair. Excuse me. When we were down in July, John and I were looking at the wheelchairs that we were going to be giving out to the folks that day, and I saw a sticker on the side of one of those chairs, and it said Community Medical, Washington, Iowa, and I thought, that's kind of cool. That was probably in my shed about 6 months ago. So, it kind of gave me some motivation. And then we saw another chair that had a sticker on the side that said Johnny and Friends. And if you're familiar with who Johnny Erickson Tata is, they have this huge worldwide ministry where they do wheelchairs, and they actually supply wheelchairs to Chris and Donna as well. But I saw that, and it said, collected in love by the Johnny and Friends team from Dallas, Texas, or wherever, but they had the place where they came from. And John and I looked at that, and we thought that'd be kind of neat to do that. So we had some stickers made up, and so they say, I can't remember exactly all the wordage, but collected serving the Lord with mission mobility, and then in the bottom we print on it, collected in Murray, Kentucky, or Iowa or Pennsylvania. So when a team's down there, like right now, there's a team down there from Omaha who's brought us a lot of chairs over to here. When they're going to be giving out chairs, they're going to see a sticker that says Mission Mobility, and it kind of gives them some ownership. Even if it's from Pennsylvania or Timbuktu, it's part of their team. And so it's kind of a motivator, and it's really been a neat thing to do that. This is a letter that we got from Chris and Donna Mooney down in Bethel. It's kind of wordy, but basically they're thanking Honest Path and Mission Mobility for what they've done. And they say Mission Mobility has been a tremendous blessing to our ministry. We were hoping and praying that something like this would happen. Having someone that would connect with individuals and help us collect wheelchairs, with being based in Guatemala and having very little time to travel in the States to build relationships, it just wasn't happening. And they understand how much work it is up here. Basically they said they gave out 1,000 wheelchairs the year before, and last year over 1,500. The need is great, and through the hard work of those who collect, we will be able to continue this work to supply the wheelchairs to the least of these. Without the aid of Mission Mobility and On His Path, the number of people that are helped would go down drastically. And last year, they got down to the point where they had 12 wheelchairs in their shed. And that's pretty much the pipeline is dry. And to give you an idea, when one of those 25 teams comes down, they will have the event planned several weeks in advance. So the pastors in the communities around Guatemala find the people that have the need, the people that, for whatever reason, need a wheelchair. And on file at Bethel, they have these lists of all these people that need chairs. There's binders and binders and binders of these people. So when the teams, they'll tell the folks, okay, on May 2nd, we're going to be in Chimaltenango, come get your wheelchair. And so the team goes, and these wheelchairs are there, and they get fitted, and then they get a chance to meet with the pastor And it's just really, it's an awesome event because you know that their lives are going to be transformed in two ways. I think I've said it already. They're going to get mobility, and their lives are changed because, many of them come to know the Lord through it. We are very grateful at Mission Mobility for so many things. On His Path, first and foremost, because On His Path, pays for those containers. 5 containers last year at about $4,500. Do the math, it adds up. But the good it's doing is immense. We've had private monetary donors. Last year, Mission Mobility brought in directly that then went to On His Path over $6,000. I mean, one family donated enough to send 1 container. They just felt led to do so. But praying for us is huge, because when we're on the trips, you worry about getting sick or being safe and that kind of stuff. We ask for prayer support, and that means as much or more than anything else. And but the monetary contributions are amazing. The wheelchair contributions, Neil bringing that wheelchair over, that's 1 wheelchair. You add them up, that fills a container, and it's going to change a life. We're really thankful for the people down at Bethel Ministries, because they're doing so much to serve those people down there. But I'm also think about it as being thankful because there's people like us that have gone down, thinking we're going on a neat mission trip, and when you don't have any clue that it's going to change your whole world, and it changes lives. And I often ask, I'm in email contact with a lot of the teams that go down there. And one of the questions I always ask them, how many people in your team of 10 or 20 or whatever are new people? Because it's always exciting to me to know how many people are going to get that excitement, the rush, just everything, because their lives are going to change. They're going to change, if not just a little way, maybe in a big way. The hospitals, nursing homes, we're just who donate stuff, and just everybody that's a part of things. I know before we send a container, we have to do an inventory, a detailed inventory. So we've got 150 wheelchairs and 200 walkers and 150 sets of crutches and boxes of equipment and boxes of clothes. We have to make a spreadsheet that basically has a serial number from that stuff and a description, and it seems like a really detailed deal, but it's for the manifest, for the customs. So we have to do that. Seems monotonous, but we make it fun. It takes us an hour and a half, 2 hours, but we get 15 people. You make it fun because you're serving. It's kind of like when you have the bake sale or the rummage sale or something. It's only work if you make it work. So those are fun. So I invite you anytime. I usually let Jason know when we're doing something. We're always welcoming new people to help out, to collect and to do the inventories. Okay, go to the next one there, Jason. You can meet the person that's donating the chair. It might be somebody's grandma or grandpa, or it might be there's a little boy that we met that has, I don't know, MS or something, and it's really enriching when you can meet the person, and actually it's not just a chair then, because that was a part of somebody's life. And that rehab trike belongs to a family down by Wayland, and they donated it, and Jenny kept saying, have they given her bike away? Have they given her bike away yet? Usually I don't have a clue. We don't have any idea. And so when we were down there in July, I went up and dug around in the warehouse, and I found it, because that was a pretty unique piece of equipment. So we took that little first video, not knowing the second video was coming. And so Chris and Donna, the next 2 weeks later, that girl got that trike. And so it was so neat to have that whole thing come full circle and to be a part of the full circle. It's really neat. This is an event. The chairs are all lined up and ready for the folks to get fitted. And so, when you get to the event, we unload them, unshrink wrap them, and then at the end of 2 or 3 hours, those are all fitted and people are going down their way with them. Now I'm going to change gears a little bit. I go down in January, a small group of guys. We go down and we work. The guy on the left is Juanito Macario. He's a pastor down there. He's a really good friend, and he's just an awesome man. And he goes out and he finds these people in his community, in his church community, that need help. Most of the women that we help and build a home for or whatever are widows. Their husband was killed, or maybe he took off on them and she's got a whole house full of little kids. They need help in a bad way. Well, where we go there is in the mountains of Guatemala. It's about 6,500 feet, 6,500. In January in the mountains of Guatemala, it's 40 at night. Maybe it might dip into the 30s. The wind blows, and the day it's 60, but it's cold at night. I mean, we've all got our electric blanket, and the house has got insulation. The houses down there, you can throw a cat through the wall, a lot of them, because they're just thrown together. So we bought blankets this year. We thought that might be a new thing to do, and the Crawfordsville and Ainsworth churches help support On His Path. And so, you know, John, we talked about, you know, we thought what would be a neat thing to do, and so we put the money to good use that your church has donated, and we bought 25 blankets. We'd never done that before, and Tom, my friend from Wisconsin there on the left, he hands this widow who's got a whole bunch of little kids in this really awful little shed. We give her some stuff, and he gives her this blanket, and she completely lost it. And he was crying buckets of tears too, because just something as simple as a blanket can you know, be such a big blessing. On the other side, that's the lady we built the house for. She's a widow, and they got a blanket for each one of the beds. Go to the next one, Jason. These two kids are some kids that we got to know 3 years ago, and their dad's gone, and their mom barely scratches to get by, and we've gotten to know them because we've just built a relationship with these kids. It's Claudia and Angel, and this year they're very active in this church now, and the very last night of church, well, back up just a day. The day before, we went by to do a home visit, and Angel was at school, but Claudia was home, and we gave them a couple of blankets and some food. But we gave them 2 blankets. So apparently Mom and Claudia got the blankets. And Angel, they never ask for anything. They appreciate everything, but they never ask. Angel gives Tom a big hug because Tom was a real big guy. And he says, he says in Spanish that Tom had to translate, "I'm really cold tonight. Could I get a blanket too?" And it just ripped our hearts out. We were out of blankets, but we went and got him a blanket. So, you know, that takes it back to that scripture. I'm not sure if that's my next slide or not. Yeah. "For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I needed a wheelchair. You provided us with a wheelchair. I needed a blanket. You gave me a blanket." So, you know, it's not us guys that are going down there, guys and girls that are going down and doing the work. We're serving the Lord. We wanted to give Him all the glory for this because we're just doing what He's telling us. And it takes us out of our comfort zone. But it also, you know, that's kind of like a second home in a lot of ways, because I was down there a year ago right now, and I'm really missing it because I see the pictures coming back from the friends that are down there now, and it's like, I wish I was down there right now. So go to the next one there, Jan. The faces of the kids, the kids are so much fun. The kids are fun here, the kids are fun there, and Chris is a storyteller. The missionary he's like a living cartoon character. When he tells the kids Bible stories like David and Goliath, and I don't know, I can't remember what he was telling there. You look at their faces, they're just sucking it in. And he just loves to teach them the Bible stories. But you know, these were the really, really poor kids. This was kind of almost shocking, this place we were at there, because they were so poor. Okay, the next one, Jan. And then these are just some other favorite photos. That little Daniela, her shirt says it all. I'm cute. You know, that was a donated shirt, but it's perfect. I think the last slide then. Just thank you again. Thank you for serving, and the things you guys do here at this church. Your church is having the rummage sale, I think, next weekend, and the ladies were nice enough there. They actually put a call out in that to collect used medical equipment on there. So it's on your advertisements for that. And so we'll put those on the container. Whatever comes in, we'll put them on the container in September and send them south. The money that anybody donates